Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Tech Talk Friday, safely from my home during this full MCO or FMCO. Hope everyone is also staying safe at home. Please do, yeah. The numbers out there still isn't great yet, and hope everyone's getting vaccinated as well. But now that we are on the show, we're here to sort of entertain you with conversations around tech. We used to call it the Wild Wild West of tech, but today it's going to be a lot of wise words. I'll tell you why in a short while. But today, of course, it's Tech Talk Friday. We're going to talk about tech. Two guests we have today. You will see in a bit why we call it the Gang Janggut gang today, so you'll see that as well. But key thing here, Tech Talk Friday is brought to you by Necole. Necole being the learning experience platform for you to accelerate your growth, career, skills, and future. So if you want to get Necole, go on to Necole.app. And if you want to get a 30% discount on Necole, look at the crawler below. You'll see there's a promo code called Roshan T Lead 30. Use that promo code today and you will get a 30% discount on Necole to start your learning journey. Now, most importantly, Tech Talk is not done with just one host. All right. I don't know if I said my name. My name is Nigesh. I'm one of your hosts. And now I got to introduce the second host of Tech Talk Friday. We've determined that he's ancient going towards becoming the wise man on the mountain. Ladies and gentlemen, Karamjit Singh from Digital News Asia, DNA. Hello, Karam. Hey, I just noticed your shirt. Your shirt also very flowery today.
Shirt, yeah. I feel super cool today because both my teenagers said that, Papa, your polo shirt is nice. I said, okay.
Oh, so he's being very floral in nature today and bringing all the good vibes today. So,
but my mood is actually a bit grim, and I'll share with you why later. Yeah.
Oh, mood's a bit grim. So let's hear what's going to happen later. The wise man shall share this. But first, let's do our DNA pick of the week right now. So Karam, your pick of the week is this news.
Yep.
Actually, interesting. We have been talking about banking and banking digitalizing, but most of the time we're hearing regular banks talking about, this app that they're doing, that app that they're doing. And this seems to be a bit more intentional in nature towards actually creating digital banking. So the news here is Axiata and RHB formalize a joint bid for a digital banking license. Now, what's the story about, Karam?
Well, so look, this is just a case of two organizations coming together because they feel they've got complementary skills and expertise and markets to address also. Very important. So, and also if you look at the equity in the joint venture, right? Axiata, through Boost Holdings, is actually going to hold a majority, 60%. And RHB actually will own 40% in this digital bank. The background to it is, of course, Malaysia, the Central Bank of Malaysia, which is called Bank Negara Malaysia, is closing its applications end of this month for organizations to apply for a digital banking license. I think they'll be giving 5 licenses out, and they plan to according to them, they're going to take 18 months, which actually to me is an ancient amount of time. Okay, we're using the word ancient twice now in the show, right? An incredibly long period of time to try to decide on whom to give the digital banking license to. And I feel this is way too long a period because this is not rocket science. This is not a greenfield area. Singapore has already launched digital banks. Korea, you have them, right? And I think in probably in the UK also for sure. So there are already markets you can see to get lessons from. So you don't need to take too long. So I'm really totally puzzled by this. But I hope that is the maximum period, and of course do it much sooner because this is to address an area where there's a clear market failure. And this is actually mentioned by the CEO of Boost, which is Khairul Abdullah. And the reason why is because even the CEO of RHB said that there are so many Malaysians who are underbanked and of course unbanked at all, right? There's a big portion, and you need to reach out to these people to give them options. And digital allows you, simply because digital gives you data on your customers' behavior, which is why even Grab after a while, I think they've actually started offering loans to their partners, of course, to their riders, right, drivers. And why? Because they can see how much Karamjit Singh as a driver is earning, and they're offering, hey guys, and if you need a short-term loan, right, for a week or 2 weeks, right, 100 ringgit, 500 ringgit maximum, we are happy to help you. But of course, they're helping you, but they also make a little bit in interest, right, in the spread, in the gap. So, but because they have data on you, so this is why this so for I think RHB comes out the winner here, because Axiata through Boost is already in the game through Aspirasi, right? They are actually offering micro insurance and also offering merchants already micro lending also, which is incredibly popular. And their part and Aspirasi is under the Axiata Digital holding group. And you've got Boost one side and you've got Aspirasi one side. So Aspirasi is the one handling micro insurance and also micro loans, but even Boost is doing it. But Boost has got almost 300,000 merchant base. And when you have this merchant base using of course you understand how their business is like, right? You can see their cash flow. Easy for you to go and say that Nigesh, bakery, hey, we're happy to lend you a loan. Shasi, who's our producer, your business sucks, so sorry, don't come to us for loans. Go to our competitors. But bottom line is that they have so much more data thanks to digital on customers who banks cannot give to, because banks are stuck with this. Give me 1,000-day track record, right? 3-year track record, which is 1,000 days. All banks all over the world are not just Malaysian banks. So you're stuck playing by very rigid rules, whereas the digital players are nimble, are fast, are not. So this creates market opportunity, because Grameen Bank 2 decades ago, they've proven that you can lend money to micro merchants, micro entrepreneurs, right, or women in business. And they are very good paymasters. So this is an amazing untapped market that RHB comes out the winner here, because without Boost, they will be hard pressed to find a better partner in the ecosystem. So that's why they come together. And for merchants out there, for everyone out there, if you are in the underbanked or unbanked, once these guys get digital license, and if you have a digital relationship with someone, there's a high chance that you'll be able to get loans also then, right? So it's going to be good for the overall ecosystem, I think. And one more thing, last point, I'm intrigued that because they didn't have to come out, nobody knew that these two partners were working together. And all journalists out there, especially business journalists, right, Nigesh, were trying to find out who's partnering with Axiata, because Axiata said they were very keen to put in their hat into the ring for this. And now I'm wondering, the other parties, will they come out to announce who they're going to partner with or not? I'm intrigued as to why they came out and announced it. So that's where this story is interesting.
And also intriguing, you brought up the point about how most things in the financial sector, because it's so heavily regulated, just takes an ancient amount of time. Third time we're saying it. Ancient amount of time to get things going. And I remember having a conversation with the then CEO Asia Pac of Citibank, Lung. And he was telling me that, the one thing that is going to make us standard banking irrelevant is all these regulations that are keeping us down, and fintech is just going to win over us, because they're just going to be a lot faster and able to provide solutions and targeted solutions to people, instead of going through this whole 1,000-day cycle and all these different regulations.
But having said that, sorry, banks are, like you said earlier, a lot of banks are already digital. They're offering a lot of services, right, through apps. And actually, at a conference that DNA used to organize, of course, we haven't done it in the last 2 years. The chief strategy officer, one of the largest banks in Southeast Asia, was a guest, and I was doing a one-on-one with him. And then he actually said that you can, through our app now, you can actually register, you can apply for an account, and we can approve it very fast. And I forgot what time period he said. And no need to walk into a branch. And then I asked the audience, hey, how many of you know that you can do this through the app of this bank? And out of, I think there were probably, this was the second half of the second day, first day, but the conference was ending, about 180 people left, and literally only about 3 or 4 or 5, 6 hands went up. There are people who are aware you could do that through the bank. And then he was not happy. He said, oh, I got to speak to my marketing people about this. But I think somebody after that kena rotan lah. But people don't know also that you've got all these services out there, because the market is so busy, right? There's so much noise out there. So and of course, banks doing something digital is not sexy. Whereas just Boost, doing something is considered hip and sexy. So you benefit from the added visibility in the market. Like, it's just human nature somehow, right?
Yeah. Let's see how this story evolves as they go along.
Right.
All right. And we've got two more stories here, which we just want to quickly mention to you to go over to Digital News Asia to check out. One of it being Accenture Interactive. Okay, so Accenture is a big company, so they have many different apps.
Almost
so one of
half
them,
a million people. The headcount is incredible.
Yes. So Accenture Interactive is one of it. So they're expanding their presence in Southeast Asia with the acquisition of the Malaysian ad agency Entropia. So that's actually to allow them to add capabilities in CX, which is customer experience, and also design, and also expand the creative talent pool and allow good opportunities for the talent on both sides. So check out that news. And another one here, and we actually had the CEO of ADA on the show, I think 2 weeks back, Srinivas. So some updates. He was actually talking a little bit about this in the show. Awake Asia merges with ADA to create an integrated e-commerce service across 10 countries. And Srinivas was alluding to things like this during the interview we had with him. So it's bringing integrated brand media e-commerce services to South and Southeast Asia. All right. So check out that news as well on Digital News Asia. All right. So done with that. Now we're going to get our first guest on. But before we get our first guest on, I'd like to remind everyone as well. The show is just not me and Karam. The show is not only about the guests that we have. The show is about you as well. So whether you're watching us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube, use that comment section. We'll see it. If you have a question, if you even have a thought of what is being said, drop it in the comments area. We'll bring it up. And if that creates a discussion point, great. So please do that. Join us in the conversation. Okay, let's introduce our first guest. And he's going to talk about, this is competing against unicorns. It's not the horse with the horn, okay? It's unicorn companies. So how to thrive when competing with unicorn. So let's bring up Mohd Izzairi Yamin, or better known as Zairi, from ZeptoExpress Berhad. Hey Zairi.
Hi Nigesh. Karamjit.
Hey bro. Congratulations on the funding round that was announced this week. Incredible achievement, and of course, if those who don't know you, Zairi is actually a seasoned entrepreneur. He's when did you first start your entrepreneurial journey, bro? 2012 or?
You mean startup or?
Yeah, startup as an entrepreneur lah.
Okay, as an entrepreneur since 2013 actually.
2013. Okay, cool. So so he's a seasoned entrepreneur, and I think ZeptoExpress is your second startup venture, right?
Yeah, correct.
So his first one didn't work, then he moved on to ZeptoExpress, and I think it's so in so the reason why my first question, and we're talking about how do you survive in a market where you've got a unicorn, is because Hong Kong-based Lala Move, which is actually I don't know now at this point how much they've raised in total, but they're unicorn or near unicorn lah. They've raised easily over $100 million, and they came into the Malaysian market, and I thought, gone case lah, for the local players. And I actually asked Zairi for some comments, and he actually said this is good for the market. It raises the bar and it creates awareness also of this space. And I thought, wow, this guy is crazy, man. Or he's just putting on the brave front lah. Okay, so but lo and behold, pleasantly surprised that this week they announced that they've raised money. So they didn't disclose how much, just a 7-figure sum, and I'm thinking it's probably $1 million to probably 2 million ringgit lah for now, from a VC. So fantastic, very bold move by the VC. But of course the VC, and I think the VC's name is what, Features. How do you pronounce it, Zairi?
Ficus.
Okay. Ficus, it's a bold move by them also, but they would have seen the numbers and they would have seen the growth of Zairi. So I say, hey, I think we can take a bet on this guy. So my question, and in this market, I use Red Ocean because pricing is so incredibly competitive, right? You've got Grab in this space also, you've got Ninja Van, you've got Lala Move, you've got J&T, Post Malaysia are so forced to play the game. So all are large players. And here you have, Zairi with his, of course, he's the best looking CEO among all the five for sure, with his beard also. playing in the same space. So how did you manage to create a niche for yourself in this red ocean?
Okay, basically, if you look at the stats reported by MCMC, I think I'm going to base on 2018 stats because I started in 2016, So 2015, when I first came into the space, I developed a company called ZeptoExpress. So it's the first on-demand 3-hour delivery in Malaysia. So it got covered by some of the news portal. At that point of time, it was quite sexy, 3-hour delivery. From point A to point B. So and then we had some issues with the co-founder, startup which is not matured enough. So then we just break up. You mean like the marriage did not take place lah. Okay, so I set up ZeptoExpress, understanding the market situation. Okay, if you look at that point of time, okay, no one is actually holding 50% of the market share. You can name me one. At that point. Okay, there's FedEx, DHL, UPS, Post Laju, TNT. Okay, Post Laju at that point of time is only holding 12%.
TNT,
at that point of, Post Laju is only holding 12%. TNT is like 7-8%. Okay, and then like Skynet is only 2%. Okay, so at that point of time, when the revenue of at that point was 8.5 billion Malaysian ringgit. Okay. And the number of delivery, in terms of revenue, it doubles up. Okay, since 2018, 19, 20, double and triple. Okay,
seriously, the market is there. Wow.
Yeah, it's reported by MCMC in 2018. It's 8.5 billion.
MCMC. By the way, the non-Malaysians listing MCMC, the Malaysian Communication and Multimedia Commission. So they are the regulator for the postal industry and for the telco industry also.
So when I look at that stats, I see that there's a lot more room that can be improved. That means if I were to hold 0.001, I'll still make money. Even if the company is not going to be a unicorn, I'll still make money and survive. So that's the mentality I had. It's not just to be a unicorn, but to build something that will be used by companies and my customers out there. So that was the main intention. And looking at the market, as you were saying, red ocean. Yeah, it's red ocean, but this industry is an industry where it will never die, even though if there's World War III, pandemic, and you just name it, any situation. Okay, so logistics delivery is a need and it's a must-have option. Sector.
Okay, interesting. So interesting. So even despite big players in there, what gave you confidence was the fact that the market itself was still growing. So it's not a saturated market already where everyone has to start competing for the same market share, and then you do silly things, right? Okay, so I didn't know the market was growing to that extent. That's amazing. So okay, but then still your service you're offering is still the same. So how were you reaching out to like a Bumiputra customer base, or focusing in Terengganu, Kelantan, Perlis, the states which are not so economically advanced, and these other guys are not in there? How did you still create the niche?
Okay. So we need to be a bit different. Okay. But how different can you be? We are not sending parcels to Mars or to the moon, right? So it's still from point A to point B, you must use the road, like what other couriers are using. So at that point, when we raise our funds, we raise through angels, and then we do not have deep pockets where we can burn money. So what we did was that we tried to focus on customers and users. But then we see we are burning a lot of money because we need to have brand presence. We need to have a lot of marketing, dollar and cents, to advertise our brand, to make people know about our brand. So I think it's not working for ZeptoExpress at that point of time. So what we did was that we divert everything and we focused a lot towards the SMEs, towards companies. So in the first year, when we were running ZeptoExpress, we got companies like Walt Disney, from Singapore, and all the logistics, fulfillment, everything was handled by us since day one.
Wait a minute, how would it Walt Disney or Disney company, right? have confidence in you because your big players would have been bidding for the job also. That's incredible.
Yeah, because at that point of time, Walt Disney was looking for companies that can handle everything, and they want a proper system, a proper dashboard, a proper monitoring tool. At that point of time, I think it's very less companies that's having a proper tool, a proper monitoring system. Now there's a lot of players that has it.
Yeah.
Okay, but that point of time, when we first launched our portal, our system, we have everything in place. That's what triggered Walt Disney to try us out, and I think we have also improved the entire system. And our system is quite matured today. So at that point of time, we onboard a lot of SMEs and a lot of companies through the system. So that means it's not about pricing only, but it's through the whole solution that we offer.
So you build this solution yourself, in-house built, is it?
In-house, yeah. I'm a software developer.
You are a developer, yeah. So how many engineers and how long did it take you to develop? Because I'm mightily impressed that a small company like y'all had a digital dashboard system ready, right, for track and trace or whatever, and that Disney would have still looked at a few bits and they still pick y'all. And 2017 was this, or 2018? When was this?
2017.
Wow, unbelievable. Okay, so how many engineers and how long did it take y'all?
We have close to 6 engineers. It's a very small team. We are very lean, very bootstrap, and me myself, I handle the tech part a lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm impressed. Okay, so let's move on to the second question. So I didn't know that. This is very interesting. How long were you looking for funding, and how many investors did you speak to? And I asked this, Zairi, because previously we had Lapasa, the CEO of Lapasa, on. Kind of forget his name now. Nigesh, do you remember his name? Dinesh. Okay.
Dinesh, yes.
Come on, equal host. Come on, man.
Okay,
so
okay,
Dinesh,
I'll get ready.
Dinesh said that he actually spoke to like over 100 investors. I'm like, wow, you can just imagine the mental stamina and the tenacity, because people tell you no after 15-20 times, you probably go back and say, I must be stupid lah, close shop lah. To take over 100 rejections was amazing, and I got so much respect for all you guys who go out and handle all these no's. So that's why I asked you this question: how many investors do you speak to? How long did it take before you came to these guys?
Okay, if you're talking about angel investors, it did not took
not
that
angel.
long.
This round, not angel, but this round.
This round, I think I've spoken to like probably 40 investors, VCs from Singapore, from Philippines, from Thailand, from Dubai, from Malaysia, but not only based from the offer that was given by the VCs, but also we had to look into so many factors and so many angles as well. Okay, in terms of the terms, in terms of the pricing, they will always price you very low, and we were not happy with most of the offer given. And some of
you got more than one offer lah, you're saying, huh?
We have, I think, we have 3 offers that we had to really pick and choose. Okay. And one offer we turned down in 2017, 17, 17, yeah.
Okay.
That one that we see from Singapore.
Oh, okay.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Singapore. So this current round, you had 2 offers like then, right? Were you evaluating 2 offers then? This current round.
Correct.
Okay. So you like the valuation was better, but were you just looking at money or beyond the money also?
Normally, when we look for VC, we look, not only for money, but we look what can they assist. How can they assist, a company? So with the strength of Ficus, with the directors, the board, the people in Ficus, itself, they have a very strong, board. They have a very strong team, and very experienced in-house entrepreneurs as well. And I think that's one of the main reason that we would want to leverage on Ficus' strength.
Okay, but one quick question, because in the press release, Rina Neo, right, the principal, said that they also like y'all because she said they plan to be a hands-on investor, and sometimes entrepreneurs don't want that. So when I see hands-on, then Are they going to be too? Obviously you are not worried about that. You sorted that out. So when somebody wants to come in and say they want to be hands-on, so did you welcome that from them? And did you create clear delineation or technology?
Yeah.
Don't disturb me. But I know marketing, leadership, culture, talent development. Fine, you all can handle. How do you clear that segue so you don't get encroached on and you feel like hey, they're trying to tell me how to do my job.
Okay, so basically, I think most of the entrepreneurs they do not want or do not like people interfering in their in their whatever they want to do. Okay.
Yep.
But that's how it's how that's the reality. When people put in money, they would definitely want to have some control. If it's not a lot, a little bit. So from this point of view, so from what we've agreed with Ficus is that they can come in terms of leadership, in terms of expanding the company, but in terms of tech, they 100% rely or they just leave it to Zepto to decide. Yeah.
Okay lah, that makes sense. Okay, technology. So good. At least you created that boundaries lah. Very important. Okay. I just want to ask you another question. Did you get much government support? Because you're obviously also a Bumiputra entrepreneur, but really on merit also, I think you should deserve some support. So can you share that with us?
Okay, I think I've applied few grants in the past from Cradle, but I got rejected. Then I applied few from can't remember, Mostil. Yeah, I think that one was in 2018. So got rejected as well. And then MDEC came in the picture. MDEC helped us a lot. Basically when I say a lot, it's a lot, tremendously a lot. Okay, so they help us in terms of giving us grants, assisting us in getting riders, with the e-Rezeki platform where we have the training facilities given by MDEC and a lot more lah. And also Magic, not to forget. Yeah.
So but MDEC doesn't give grants or what sorry, not funding, but what grant did you get from MDEC? Sorry, just
we got the training grants for us to train riders and to get our fleet on board. Yeah.
Oh, how much is that worth? What, 200,000 or less?
To 150,000 if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
And maybe
quickly, how much did you get from Magic? Because you mentioned Magic. Sorry, Nigesh. Yeah.
Magic, I didn't get any grants, but they sponsored us for the trip to US for the Stanford at Stanford, and and some of the trips to Echelon, Singapore, those kind of benefits. Yeah.
Was that beneficial to you going for the Stanford exposure and to Echelon, Singapore?
And it was quite mind blowing, because you've been mentored and also taught by those professors that who taught Larry Page and Sergey Brin, and those Snapchat founders are professors as well.
Understood. Okay. Nigesh, did you want to ask anything? Otherwise, I got one last quick question.
No. Go ahead with your question. I think I'll save that to the end of the show later.
Okay, just one more. In terms of expansion, you've been very specific. You say you're going to go to Vietnam next, and have you actually raised enough money to go to Vietnam? Because I thought you want to properly look at some other markets in Malaysia so that are underserved, right? Because we talked about underserved markets, not just individuals who are underbanked. And I guarantee you, probably in Perlis or maybe Perlis, they use the neighborly approach. Just pass your neighbor a package, they'll keep passing next door, and I can reach anyone, right? Okay, I'm being very disrespectful of Perlis. Diki is a tiny dot, but no. But any of the other markets that you thought there's opportunity, and then straight away, because you mentioned Vietnam.
Okay. In 2016, basically, we've opened up ZeptoExpress London. Okay, but it's not run by us. It's run by entrepreneurs there in London. So because this entrepreneur, the partner in London, they were running their e-commerce platform. So in the same time, they just operate our software and just to get crowdsourced drivers on board. So basically, to run ZeptoExpress, you do not need a huge amount of money for the operations. So we were thinking, if it's possible in this round itself, we can, replicate the same model like how we did in London. But unfortunately, the London partner had to close down because they had a financial problem with their e-commerce platform and they cannot run everything. Yeah. So yes, we want to strengthen our presence here in Malaysia and most of the states first.
Okay, but in Vietnam also is because it's very easy lah. You're just But if you go there, means are you going to look for a partner to license your platform, or you're going to create, hire a few people and actually have an in-country presence and then penetrate the market through a partner?
Yeah, but this time around, we would want to hire our own people. It can also be a very bootstrap, very lean kind of setup.
Yeah, of course.
So we want to hire our own people and just run our software, because I think with the software that we have, okay, you will save a lot of money in terms of the operation, from support, from tech, from operations, everything. Okay, I think it's not we're not gonna spend tons of money, operating in Vietnam. And why people are asking us why Vietnam? Okay, one of the reasons is that we are servicing in our warehouse a lot of goods from Vietnam, those e-commerce goods, a lot of Vietnam companies. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. All right, cool. So, and of course, Vietnam, everybody's got motorbike. You specialize only in motorbikes, right? Not trishaw, not bicycle, not rollerblades, right? People going on rollerblades, ZeptoExpress.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Good luck to you, man.
Okay, great hearing that from you, Zairi. So we'll have you back again at the end of the show, and we'll hear more thoughts from you just to wrap things up. So thanks for that, Zairi, and giving us a little look into what's happening with ZeptoExpress. All right. Now, next person that we're going to get on, and it's going to be one of Karam's favorite topics coming back again. And it's
really?
I don't know if this is why he's feeling a bit gloomy at the moment. I'm not sure, because he hasn't told us exactly why yet. But topic being MyDigital's 5K startup 2025 target. Is it reality or is it fantasy? Let's bring in someone who is familiar, who has been here before, and adding to the Janggut gang, Bikesh, founder of 1337 Ventures. Hi,
Also
Bikesh.
known
Good to have you
as
again.
Ventures.
So no. The reason why I wanted to get Bikesh on, because he's actually he's just finished the second cohort of his Alpha Startups Digital Accelerator. The first one was
second of the digital, but that was batch 36 of our Alpha program.
For this year,
7 years ago, we did
7 years
we
ago.
started 7 years ago with batch 1, and it's been 36, and we just launched batch 37 already. That's the one for the InsurTech with FWD.
Wow, amazing. So so I want to ask you, how do you feel the two batches went, right? And also, because I'm using this as a springboard, because I think very few people have as great a sense and a feel for the startup ecosystem in Malaysia than Bikesh. So that would be the second part. But first is for this, how have what have you observed from the first two, the 36 and 35 and 36, right, that you've run in so far this year?
Yeah, so what we found was there was a lot of MCO born ideas. In fact, the two that we invested into. So we announced today. There's one a creative platform, online community for creatives called Cult Creative, and Arus Oil. They focus on recycling used cooking oil. Most of these ideas and the rest of the batch were pretty much created during the MCO and basically try to find their footing. So that was interesting to see such ideas thrive in this kind of times. The other thing we noticed from last batch to this batch was more and more people were doing this full time. Most of the times, even when we first started the programs, we see everyone kind of dabble in startup, saying, "I've got my day job. I'm not going to quit it because maybe this thing won't work out." And they will just put their toe in the water. So this particular batch, we saw over 50% of them were actually saying, "I've got no job. This is my job. I am fully into this," right? So that's pretty good to see that number shifting towards people having confidence in saying, this is what I want to do and this is the business I want. In terms of sectors they're going in, I think we've not seen much shifts in that. FinTech has been quite popular for the longest time. There's a lot dabbling in the regulated stuff because it's harder to navigate, but that's the stuff that if you do well can get funding, can scale fast. Marketplaces, people are still always trying to find that new niche. So in terms of this, people ask, why do you invest into yet another marketplace? But we found that, what they're saying was true. I've never seen a creative talent marketplace. You have LinkedIn, you have all these other job portals. But strictly for finding creative talent, we've not seen one. So let's see if this niche basically works for them. We get in early, so we always take a chance on people. It's about the people.
And I agree with you, Bikesh, on that whole creative market space thing, because One part of me is from the creative side, and
Nice.
most of the time when we are looking for people in the creatives, whether to do certain types of work, it's usually a hunt through friends. You don't have a space to go.
Yeah,
and find
true.
that kind
It's,
of
it's
thing.
always been word of mouth. So it's very community based. And the other thing we noticed that, ever since we put the program online, we've been attracting, we've not been advertising it like internationally, but there's always foreigners joining now. And what's nice is we've been getting a lot of Malaysians apply from outside of Malaysia. So the last one we had, she works with PwC in Chicago, and she wants to test out a fintech idea in capital markets. And she's got a few team members here. They may want to come back and set up the business here. So we're starting to see a lot of great talent that realizes they want to come back and look at opportunities and dabble in a space. And it's all been enabled by putting this program online. So really excited to see that. And the top 11 that came through the program, we only announced the winners today, the top 2. But in between, one of them that had a foreign also participant they're based in the US and here,
Okay.
Norwegian team, they just received $100,000 funding from Jason Calacanis. That's the guy who was the first, one of the first investors in Uber, Robinhood, and Calm. So they're attracting that because they've perfected their pitch, right? Some of them got into some of the accelerator programs. I think Magic took some of them into the accelerator. Some have already got funding offers too. So it's nice to see that, if you have a great idea, the funds are knocking on your doors. We also brought in, one of the judges was from the Hive Southeast Asia, the guys who got the Pinjada funds. And he was quite interested in some of the teams, and they're already having conversations about possibly maybe seed funding some of them.
Nice.
So it was a great opportunity for them to have exposure. So definitely the scene, it's always getting better. It's always getting serious. The people coming in trying to pitch their ideas are more and more into their sectors. Like when we see people pitch healthcare startups, you're seeing doctors come and pitch, like QMed. That's one of the top medical-based startups here, who is working a lot with the MOH guys doing the patient management, the registration processes for COVID and all. The guy is a doctor and he founded it, right? So you're starting to see people from the domains come in and saying, I don't really need money, but I need access. I need some know-how in terms of how do I be more agile? How do I scramble? How do I hire people? How do I run a startup? So that gives us a fighting chance to say that aspiration that we want to go find some unicorns, to create some unicorns. I wouldn't say it's impossible, right? There's a few already on track. Everyone's looking at the favorite 2 right now would be the likes of Aerodyne, quite substantially amount already, and of course Qasim, right? That's the talk of everyone. If they're going to go IPO next, they just did a Series D. Possibly it could be a favorite of one of the new specs in town. That could happen. But if you look at the whole concept of unicorns, because everybody's chasing this dream, is 5,000 a silver bullet or not? Let's just go backwards a bit, right? What does it take to be a unicorn? Or what does it take to be a listed company to get that kind of valuations? Typically, it's going to take around 6 to 7 years, right? So you got to be able to do that, right? Easily, you need to achieve up to Series C or D. How many Malaysian companies have got that? Can you name 5? Chances are you can't, right? The last one, maybe Qasim, Series D, Series C, not many. So after C and D, that's the point of time when you raise about 20 to 30 million, putting your valuation to about 100 million mark already. So we're talking about dollars, this has to be in dollars.
US,
So after that, it's basically either going to be a down round because you couldn't do what you needed to do at D, and you continue up to I, like some people in the market, or you basically say, I'm going to go for an IPO, right? So you got 6-7 years time to do that. So at that point of time, if you're going to go IPO, you need to convince the general public to invest in you at a certain valuation. If you're trying to do that 1 billion mark, you got to 10x yourself. So what have you done? What have you proven that you can basically be 10x, right? So that's going to be your challenge. So not many things can get there at that particular level. If you're doing B2C, you need to have a lot of customers paying you very little bit. Then people complain, Malaysia is not going to have the kind of market size, right? You got 30 million addressable, maybe just city center, 7 million. Can you sell everything to 7 million people? So it's all about the founders having the ability to know what to sell to who at what price point. If I was basically selling a price point of 500 ringgit subscription model per year, that means $100, then I would only need 1,250,000 customers to get me towards $125 million revenue stream. And that, if I say a typical look at a multiple of 4x, gets me $500 million worth of valuation. Maybe I could then think about IPO and going to 8x, depending on the PE multiples itself. So if you do the math, it's not impossible, right? That's why the B2B startups are a bit more sexier, because you can charge more and you need less. And we have enough enterprise customers. So if you ask me, will 5,000 startups do it? Well, we had more than 5,000 startups come to our ecosystem already. But
really? Well, you mean just your ecosystem or in Malaysian ecosystem?
No, I'm just talking about in general, all right? We've done maybe close to, maybe we've seen I think we've seen over 5,000-6,000. But officially work with hands-on, maybe close to 1,000 only, right? But coming through our programs, definitely more than 5,000 we've seen. And we don't see any unicorns there. So the ratio, if they're trying to figure out, like, for every startup, 90% of them are going to fail. Out of 5,000, then you're going to be left with, hundreds. And then for every particular time you go from pre-seed to seed to Series A to Series B to Series C, you're going to keep cutting it down. Then you may have a fighting chance to say someone can get there. So, when we created that site called Murku.com to try and figure out how many truly active startups do we have? I mean, no one knows this answer. One agency will tell you 3,000. Someone in Singapore is mapping all these guys trying to sell you a solution and saying there's 1,500 startups. So we've been slowly crawling it and finding out what is matters. We've found actively maybe 538 so far that all of us know about, right? And when we break it down and look at their funding rounds, holy crap, man, bulk of them are still in early stage seed. A little bit in Series A, very few in Series B. You can count maybe 1, 2, 3 in Series C, right?
Exactly.
So using that ratio, if I just take our Murku platform as a ratio, 0.2% is going to be Series C. So if I had 5,000 and you follow status quo, 0.2%, yes, you could get 10 companies maybe at Series C in that gestation period of 6 to 7 years from now. But can we hold out that long? Will there be enough funding? So that's been the biggest complaint then. Can you fund a unicorn in this country? Well, it's a chicken and egg problem, right? Would you create a fund now to write $20 million US checks when you know that there's none at the moment? What are you going to do? Sit on the fund forever? What's the point? So if you can get to the level of Qasim and all, like you see right now, money is going to come to you, right? There are investors out in the region that will come to you when they know there's a great deal. So I don't think you have to worry about that. What do you have to focus on? Maybe that early stage funding to try and get 5,000 startups funded. So if you say, let's give them the bare minimum, 50,000 ringgit a pop, 5,000 startups, are we going to create a 250 million fund for early stage, just taking a chance on people, right? So that's one. And would that be efficient for a percentage of 0.2? I don't know. That's something that the public has to decide. Where I say is, it's not about 5,000 is too little. You're not aiming high enough. Go bigger. It won't guarantee anything. What you have to do is focus on quality, right? So I like how MDEC and Magic is getting a clue right now. I don't mean that in an insult, but things are moving in a better way now. I like the concept of the NTIS and all this kind of connections. Like our friend Zairi just said just now, MDEC helped him figure out how to get to his market, right? They have e-Rezeki, e-Usahawan, put them together. I think we need more of that. So if you want to create a unicorn, help them find goddamn customers, find distributions. You have so many GLCs that could be customers, so many corporates that can be customers. That is what it takes to go build that unicorn. Not just saying, let's create more grants, more programs, create more startups. It will not guarantee if you're still going to leave them with the current support structure that we basically have. Right? So that needs to be done. If you look at the countries like China, Japan, and all, there's such a national pride in using local solutions. Over here, we don't see enough. I mean, you would have seen on Facebook a lot of startups complain, like, just get the government to use my product. There's one guy, every article you read on the Star or anywhere, Farid, the guy who created Simpan Kira, his local accounting platform, he will always, like a hardcore guy, just comment saying, here's Simpan Kira, here's Simpan Kira. Why is government not buying for me? Why are you not buying for me? He's been shouting at it at the top of his lungs, and still no one does anything. And when we ran some of the digitalization program for SMEs, and we showed them some local companies, some local guys will just go, wow, so expensive, local solution. They expect it to be really cheap. And then they go, but the US one, very, very cheap per month, only pays a few dollars. How? So I think that education needs to to be done. Support local, use local. There's quality developers here. We've got tremendous talent locally itself. And that campaign is just not big enough, right? We hardly read stories about our local heroes unless they raise funds. So everything's about raising funds as a benchmark. Like if Zairi didn't raise the fund, you wouldn't even bloody hell get him on the show, right? So, that's your fault too, right? But he's been trying to build such a thing for the longest time. And now he's also working with Niloufar and certain things on the side. He's got a few things going on. So there's a lot of great talents there. It's just, how do you make it mainstream news? Not just something you read on DNA. Get it on NST. Get it on the edge where the big boys who are reading it will go like, oh, I want to experiment. We know corporate innovation is taking off so big, right? They're all trying to experiment, work on different things. So give them access, build that platform. I think that's all you need. And then slowly but surely, you can get towards unicorn. So 5,000 or 10,000 is not that. That will not make a difference.
Okay,
which is missing. That's what's
and access I think you always talk about get them customers. Yeah, so the government can clearly do that. Because they need customers to prove their value, to prove their worth. And I totally agree that we've got very good talent in the country. Because I had an interview with Accenture MD just now and with Prashant from Entropia. And and I'll do this story for next week and I'll talk about it. But he was saying that when Accenture Global was looking to make acquisitions like that, during one of the discussions, somebody say, hey, how come there's no companies in Southeast Asia that we can acquire? And of course, then they say, hey, Southeast Asian MDs all, hey, go, don't worry, we'll find somebody. Of course, they start in Singapore, couldn't find. And then because it's the creative space, right, Accenture interactive advertising, right, creating campaigns. Then they went to Thailand, because Thailand has got a strong global reputation for creativity. Couldn't find, then went to Indonesia. Then they looked at Malaysia, and then voila, they found. And they were amazed to see this kind of company. And the deal was also approved by the Accenture Global CEO. So it went all the way up there. They say, wow, this is a great company. And both Prashant and Azwan from Accenture Malaysia are saying, this validates that we've got very good talent in this country. I totally agree with you, Bikesh. We've got very good talent. And this is despite losing the best of our talent also sometimes to Singapore, Australia, UK, US, right? We still have very good talent. But you got the talent base, and then you've got the ideas, like you said, coming out. They need help actually with market access. And this is very important to break. Because if government thinks that just by creating more programs, you can do that, then we're just running in the same spot, right? And they're not recognizing that. So we need to break that hurdle. Government itself needs to be a customer. I remember when Gobind was the minister, I said, Gobind, you got to get your ministry to use as far as possible a lot of technology solutions. I think he struggled with that. And I tell you, if I tell KJ to his face now, he'll probably struggle also. And I don't know why that struggle is there. I don't understand.
So the other struggle that we found with the corporates, of course, they say, look, if I want to, but are they ready for us? So maybe if you want to do programs, then figure that out. Figure out how to coach a startup to work with a corporate. Think about teaching them things around the governance, the regulation, the compliance pieces. You want to offer services, pay lawyers, pay all these guys to sit down and help them craft their documents, their agreements, their contracts. You want them to get into a sandbox and do all this Banagara regulated stuff and all. First thing they come with just as a product guy, and they can't answer about how they would do their particular regulatory efforts of compliance, etc. How are they going to do that? You can't just say we have a workshop for you. Roll your goddamn sleeves up, pay for that. That's cheaper than giving them funding. Write the papers for them and get it through. And don't let bloody hell people at RHB apply for digital banking. Now, for what? You are a bank. You're already a bank. You can be a digital bank tomorrow. Just create a goddamn website. Why you want to basically cock block another person applying for the license right now? And that's the issue, right? If you look at UK and all these places, the digital banks actually kind of flourished the economy when they said, I will just focus on doing one thing right. SME banking, this particular thing. All my rest of the services, I'm not a full-fledged bank. I don't want to be so I can be lean. I'm going to work with other startups. If you get a bank applying for a digital banking license, you think they're going to do that? They will do A to Z back together. What's the point, right? So hopefully Bank Negara is listening, and I doubt they will choose this kind of fellows. Please,
True.
get the real people who deserve to be digital banks to be digital banks. The banks can just be the goddamn banks they already are.
Yeah,
No
which
point.
they already are, and they're already offering digital solutions. So okay, that which is why
Exactly. If nobody
I said
wants
that-
you in your current form, nobody's going to want you just because you're digital behind your name now.
No, but which is why I think RHB is the winner in this venture with Axiata, because they're partnering. They're going to ride on Boost expertise, right? Which is already addressing those micro niches. So interesting. But I think let's bring on Zairi, because
Yes.
I told you earlier that I'm in a grim mood, and my
Right.
mood is grim because I don't know whether you all saw that my grocer Stephen Francis, who we had on also a while
Right.
ago, right?
Right.
Has his back is to the wall and he's gasping for breath, and has put out an appeal to customers, friends, family or funders, right? He needs to raise 800,000 by midnight tonight, because otherwise he said they may not be able to carry on. And my point is this, right? Here you have an entrepreneur, incredibly hardworking. They've got subject matter experts, right? They're focused. They've put in blood, sweat, tears, heart, and soul, right, into building their startup. Their own money also, and they've borrowed money, right? Blood, sweat, tears, heart, soul, money, and borrow money. I mean, I only have one question, lah. What more do the startup gods want? It's crazy, isn't it? So how do you explain that? Or are you going to say that Karam, they're actually just in a poor market? It's the market they've chosen to address. And by right, they could still pull a rabbit out of the hat and survive and thrive, right? So there is interest, but the funding and working out the agreements is slow, or trying to come to agreement like Zairi has found is slow. So that is very scary to me. It tells you how difficult it is to build a successful startup, and that's why what Zairi has done is amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
Bikesh, go ahead.
So fundraising, right? The secret of fundraising is you raise it when you don't need it. If you're raising money when you need money, you are screwed. That's just the same thing applies to when you go to loans for banks and all. You don't go when you're down there, right? You go when you're high up there. That's why I look at every Chinaman style of doing stuff. Use other people's money. You got money in the bank, borrow more money, find better rates and all. That's how they keep growing their empires, right? You want to be like those guys, big. That's the thing, right? So yeah, I feel for him. It's difficult, and if you look at the business he's in, it is not an easy business to, right? Margins are pretty low. Even Grab now trying to come into the business is
Grab,
doing so well. It's difficult for them. You had some other people who tried to come and do this, also didn't, and failed with funding. So I wouldn't say that he should be so surprised. I think if he should have he should have planned it and know and have this particular moment. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen, right? So good luck to him by midnight if he can do it. But he's an entrepreneur, so he'll move on to the next thing, I'm sure.
Right. I've already I bought a voucher. So if you all are listening, you want to support him and support the underdog, go and buy their voucher, because they're putting millions of their own money. So Zairi, what do you think of that? Because it's the total opposite. You succeeded despite the odds, but he is now up against the wall, right? So is it just like the market he's in, you think, or something else?
I think if in terms of funding, we did not get big funding in the early stage as well. I think we only raised like 550,000. Okay, that one I raised in 2017, and then I just survived with money, because you see, I know raising fund is not easy, because during the early stage we tried to look for VCs, we look for investors, and they were asking so many questions, and we do not have everything on the books. Okay, I think I met Interest Capital during my first year, and they were asking me, is your revenue 1 million minimum? I said no, it's only 700,000. So for me, as an achievement in the first year, is quite good. Okay, for my personal achievement, but for the VCs, they don't look at 700,000. So what I did was that I had to mind tune or change my mindset to make my company stay afloat with the revenue and profit that I'm going to make. So the second year onwards, I was positive. I made like 1.7 million, and I was positive 192,000.
Wow.
And then the third year, I went to 1.9 million. With 200,000 positive. And that's how I sustain the company. So when you do not have a deep pockets, then you have to build your business with whatever you have.
Understand. So, but that's just the reality. Like, I feel a coldness when I saw his appeal yesterday or day before. Yeah, because yesterday midnight, right? Which means Wednesday midnight. It just froze my blood. I said, wow, it's so tough now, and then the funding is coming too slowly, so he's got to go and he's trying to raise 800,000, not like give us 80,000 for 1 week, 2 weeks. So it shows also he's thought through it, and he needs to raise that amount so that it gives them runway to run faster, right? Instead of taking just 8,000.
But just I mean, if that's the case for him, who is kind of a professional. Imagine your typical SME now during the MCO 3.0, right? The guy who's manning a kedai runcit, trying to sell just his veggies out there.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a platform to go on and say, buy my vouchers too. He just hopes that you will drive past his house and buy it from him. So hard times for everyone. But this is where you're going to see the resilience kind of put you through.
Yeah, right. Okay, fine with that. Okay, great. Thanks a lot for your insight, guys. And just last quick one. Do you think MyDigital will succeed, Zairi?
Okay, this question.
Yeah, it will succeed. But take time.
Okay.
Zairi is positive about it.
I think Fabian needs all the support he can get. Bikesh, what do you think?
I mean, the people have to make it succeed. Don't just say that, there's bad ministers or whatever, therefore it will not succeed. It's up to you. You want it to succeed because you like the results like Jendela. Everyone will have internet. Every kid can go to school and learn online. Don't you want that for your goddamn country? Be wanting it to be a success and make it a success. Help it be a success. Simple as that.
Well done.
So, in other words, Karam, Bikesh is telling you, stop asking the question. Go do something about it.
Move on and do something about it. Get startups on your damn program that's not funded, not raised, and give them the exposure. Simple as that.
There you go.
And call Nigesh also he's doing my co-host.
He's just doing what you ask him to bring on the interview, right? So don't blame him. It's your fault.
See, I'm clean here, but before we go,
never invite Bikesh to show again. Okay.
You say it's
I like Bikesh. I like Bikesh because I like the insights.
All right, wrap it up. You gotta go home.
Yeah, before we wrap up, I do want to take a question which came in the comments from Vigneswaran Siva Bala. And this is actually directed to Zairi because I'm also curious with this question. He has actually like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 questions that he has here. But we'll take one. And Zairi will actually link you on LinkedIn to his question so that perhaps you want to answer him later on. But one of the questions is interesting here. You were talking a lot about Zepto, right? But I don't know where he got this idea, but he says that you're a serial entrepreneur. So are you involved in other startups?
Yeah. And I'm very transparent with that. Yeah, I'm very transparent with the VC as well. I am also a director in a financial company regulated by Bank Negara, Max Money.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So there you go, Vignesh. And so there are a few questions that will tag you, Zairi. So perhaps you can just respond to Vignesh. And also the other thing which I want to take away from what Bikesh said as well. We keep on talking about this whole brain drain from Malaysia kind of thing. Maybe one day down the line, Karam, the next time you bring Bikesh on, it's how whatever.
I sent memo to myself already. No more.
The things that Bikesh is doing to turn the brain drain to the brain gain in Malaysia, and it's true. It's not just throwing money. It's what is the ecosystem that you're going to create that presents opportunities that makes these things a reality, and that will bring people back to where they are. Ultimately, we all love where we came from. We all love our home. And if there is an opportunity to do something for our home, and if that opportunity is easy to access, and I know that I got a shot, anybody would do something. So I think that's a good takeaway there from what Bikesh said. So we got to wrap things up. We are already over time and we're near 7 o'clock. And I want to say thank you so much to Zairi and also to Bikesh for all the sharing that you gave us today. And to everybody else who's listening, those who have been commenting, thank you so much. Those who joined us when you're at home safe, this FMCO 3.0. Thank you so much. And please stay safe, everybody. Stay safe, everybody. If you want to catch up on more tech or digital news, remember, go on to Digital News Asia. And for those of y'all who are out there who are part of organizations, I know I talked about Necole.app for those of you who want to get your own Necole account, but for organizations, if you want to think of learning and development solutions right now, especially digital blended solutions, go over to Necole.tech and we will have some solutions there for you and we can have some conversations around that. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this week's edition of Tech Talk. So from myself, Karam, Zairi, and also Bikesh, Take care, everybody. And that Karam is doing his Wise Man on the Mountain thing already. Gang Janggut signing out. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Yep. Have a great weekend, man.
Support your local startup.